guys, it's Sophia and I'm sick. Because my immune system has decided to expose me like this, I had to skip school today, which I'm actually really bummed out about because I would have had French class today. So I just sat here thinking to myself,
hey, if I can't go to French class today, I might as well just I don't know, try to look a bit more French instead.
And recently one of my favorite hashtags to browse on Instagram has been Parisienne chic. Parisian? Anyway. So on Instagram I've been seeing so many of these like silk slip dresses that kind of look like sleepwear, kind of look like underwear, but that these chic Parisians are just able to like effortlessly pull off as like day dresses. And especially one that I keep seeing is a brand called Excess Only, which sells these silk slip dresses that are made in the UK, and they seem like really ethical and trustworthy. But I personally, I don't have the means to spend 300 euros on a silk slip dress, unfortunately. So as always with me, the solution to this problem is to try to make it myself. So I have this 100% silk skirt that I bought at a charity shop for 3 euros. And what interested me so much about this skirt is that the fabric is actually like folded in 2 layers. So I hope if I just open this up, I would have enough fabric to make a dress out of this. But I mean, we're just gonna have to see how much fabric I have to work with. So that's my fabric for today. As for the construction of the dress, I've seen a couple of different styles. So there are some dresses that have like separate pieces for like the top part. They're like cut separately and then sewn onto the rest of the dress. And some dresses also have this type of detail on the back of the dress. And then I've also seen some silk slip dresses that are just completely one piece. So I think I'm just gonna have to first take a look at how much fabric I have to work with, if I'm able to like do a separate part on the top, or do I have to just do a whole thing, you know, in one piece. We'll have to see what the fabric will allow us to do. Okay, so there are a lot of question marks about this project already, but I think I just have to get started and see where this gets me. So I have the skirt right here and I grabbed my trusty seam ripper. So what I'm gonna do first is just go through the seam at the top where the elastic band is and try to open up that seam, so hopefully we can open up this skirt and reveal the fabric and make as little cuts as possible to save as much fabric as we can. So now I've managed to seam rip the whole dress from the top, so let's see how much fabric there is. Okay, that's almost like the length of a maxi dress for me. Okay, so now because I have so much fabric, I think I'm gonna have to take a little time to figure out what type of dress I want to make from this, and kind of figure out how exactly I'm gonna construct this dress. Okay, so now I've kind of figured out how long I want the dress to be. It's like right about knee length right now. And then I've folded the excess piece of fabric on top. So I think I'm just gonna mark this edge with a couple of pins, and then I'm gonna cut along this edge. Okay, so now I have this tube of fabric to work with, and what I think I'm gonna do next is to figure out what I want the neckline to look like. So the high points of the neckline should be like right about here, and then they will scoop down to make like a V-neck, and then I think I'm gonna take some fabric off the sides as well and scoop those down as well. I hope I'm not gonna have to like open too much of the side seams because they're like pretty well sewn, and honestly that would just make my life a lot easier not to have to sew everything back together. So I'm trying to work with what I have and do as little as possible. Okay, so next let's move on to the neckline. So right now the top of the dress looks like this. So the next step that I'm gonna do is probably take the sides in a bit on both sides so that it's like more form-fitting, I guess. But not too much. I don't want it to like cling like entirely to my skin. So I'm just gonna have to find the sweet spot on that, because like right now it's kind of baggy and really doesn't have like a form. So I'm gonna pin the sides down and then I'm gonna try sewing it. Okay, so now I took the dress off and I put some more pins in place so that the line is more clear, and I made sure that on both sides the amount of like basically fabric that I'm gonna be taking off is the same. So this is like 3 centimeters, so then on the opposite side it should also be 3 centimeters. So I made sure that they match up, and next thing that I'm gonna do is just sew along those pins. So I just put the dress on really quick to check the side seams, and they look pretty good right now. So I think I'm just gonna cut off the excess of the seams on the inside, and then I'm gonna do a little zigzag to like really secure the edge. And after that I think I'm gonna start working on the straps. So I also marked the center back of the dress with a pin because I want to kind of make the back of the dress a bit more low cut. So I'm just gonna cut it in a curved angle so that it reaches about this spot. Okay, so to make the straps I just cut out 2 of these strips of fabric from the excess fabric that I have left over. They're about 50 centimeters long and about 4 centimeters wide. And what I did to them was just fold them over twice so that the rough edges are on the inside. And then I pinned them down and used an iron to press down the strap so that it's easier to sew. So I'm just gonna do the same thing that I did with this strap to this one, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sew them. Okay, so the next step that I'm gonna do is make a lining piece for the front of the dress. So I'm gonna cut out a piece that has the similar shape as the front of the dress, and then I'm gonna sew it right sides together so that hopefully I'll get a nice lining piece on the inside and I won't have a visible stitch going around the front of the dress. Okay, so now I have this lining piece all done, and what I think I'm gonna do next is sew a straight stitch along the bottom side. I don't want to like fold it or do a zigzag stitch because I don't want it to show, like be too bulky that it shows underneath the dress. So I think a straight stitch might be... Now I'm gonna sew the dress and the lining piece together, and actually what I'm gonna do is also at the same time attach the straps. So I'm gonna lay them like this in the middle of the dress and the lining piece, and hopefully if I do that I will get everything sewn at once and the straps will be nicely hidden. Next thing I'm going to do is press the seam lightly with my iron on a low setting so that it kind of pushes it in place and that the lining fabric won't show on the front side of the dress. So So this is what the dress looks like from the front. I don't think I'm gonna do a lining piece on the back. I'm just gonna do a rolled hem, so roll it like once and then twice and sew along this seam that I created. I don't really mind not having a lining piece on the back because it's just the back of the dress, so who cares? So I think I'm gonna first of all do a rolled hem, and after that I might attach the straps to the back of the dress. So next thing I'm gonna do is sew the lining piece to the inside seam of the dress so that it stays in place. Okay, so now I just kind of fit the dress on, and I mean, it looks like a dress, I think. So that's positive. The sides of the dress are that's kind of wonky, you know, so I just thought I might just push it down like this and maybe even like hand sew the end here so that it's a bit cleaner. And for the back straps, just gonna see where I should attach them and then add a pin here and then sew them in place. So spur of the moment kind of decision, I decided to make a slit on the dress on the right side. So I think I'm gonna do 2 lining pieces on each side and see how that works out. And then I'm gonna sew the hem of the dress.
princesse.
Et t'as quel âge?
Qu'est-ce que ça peut te faire?
Tu veux un cachou?
Non merci, je ne suis pas très drôle.
So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do so at @sofiamainen. And if you want to see more videos like this, you can click the subscribe button. So stay tuned for next time, and I will see you later. Bye bye.
Ils sont là à traîner sans vraiment mauvais. Moi, dans un monde toute la journée.